Few people talk about it, but there is a silent battle that begins to intensify when we pass the age of 70, the struggle to maintain muscle strength. It is not just a matter of vanity or mobility, it is about independence, vitality, and quality of life. The loss of muscle, which seems normal over time, can be avoided with simple actions, and it all starts with what we put on our plate. If you feel that you are getting weaker, more tired, or having difficulties doing what once seemed easy, maybe your body is just asking for the right nutrients. And that is exactly what you are going to discover in this video. The 5 main nutrients that help keep muscles firm, strong, and active after the age of 70. But attention, we are not only talking about protein. Some of these allies are little known, but they make all the difference. And at the end of the video, you will understand how to use these nutrients in your daily life, with practical tips that can transform your routine without complications. Staying until the end may be the key to avoiding falls, pain, and muscle weakness that seem inevitable but are not. If you value your health and want to age with strength, independence, and energy, like this video, share it with someone who also needs to know this, and subscribe to the channel to receive more practical tips like this every week. And take the opportunity to comment below. What is the biggest challenge you feel today in maintaining your strength and physical disposition? Your experience can help other people too. Let's start by revealing the silent enemy behind the loss of muscle mass after 70, a name that few know, but that acts every day, even without giving visible signs. There is a natural process that happens over the years, but that many people only notice when they have already lost a good part of their strength. Sarcopenia. That complicated name describes a simple reality, the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength that begins to accelerate after 60 and becomes even more evident after 70. What is frightening is that it can go unnoticed for a long time, until getting up from a chair, carrying a bag, or climbing a step becomes a real challenge. Contrary to what many think, sarcopenia is not an inevitable consequence of aging. It is accelerated by bad habits, mainly by lack of physical activity and by a diet poor in essential nutrients for the muscle. This means that, with the right care, it can be slowed down, and even reversed in some cases. But for this, it is necessary to understand how it works and, above all, what to do to fight it. One of the great dangers of sarcopenia is that it drastically increases the risk of falls, fractures, and hospitalizations. And unfortunately, each fall after the age of 70 can represent a drastic change in independence and quality of life. But all this can be avoided with simple strategies that involve strengthening the muscles. And the most interesting thing, this does not require gyms or heavy workouts, just smart food choices. The good news is that science has already identified the most effective nutrients to prevent this weakening. And by including these components in the daily routine, it is possible to regain not only strength, but also balance, endurance, and self-confidence to remain active. After all, keeping muscles strong is also keeping the freedom to come and go, without depending on anyone. Now that you already know who the silent villain is behind the loss of strength with age, it is time to discover the first great hero of this story. A nutrient that acts as a brick in the construction of muscles, and that may be being consumed in the wrong way by a good part of the elderly. Protein is the best-known nutrient when it comes to maintaining or gaining muscle mass, and with good reason. It works as the brick that builds and repairs muscles, especially important for those over 70 who need to keep the body active and resistant. Without enough protein, even with light exercises, the muscle does not hold up. And worse, the body begins to consume its own muscles to function, accelerating weakening. The big mistake among many elderly people is the quantity and quality of protein consumed. Many believe they eat enough, but the truth is that as age advances, the body needs more protein than before to achieve the same effect. Sources like eggs, lean meats, fish, dairy products, and legumes should be present at all meals, not just lunch. Dividing consumption throughout the day helps keep muscle levels more stable. Another important point is the type of protein. Animal proteins usually have a more complete amino acid profile, essential for muscle reconstruction. But it is also possible to combine plant sources like beans and rice, lentils, and quinoa to achieve a similar effect. For those who have difficulty chewing or have little appetite, protein supplements specifically for the elderly can be great allies, as long as guided by a health professional. It is worth remembering that protein is also linked to the maintenance of immunity, healing, and even hormone production. It is not just about muscles, it is about keeping the whole body functioning more efficiently. For those who want to feel stronger, more willing, and more autonomous, this is one of the most important pillars. And the best part, The result of a protein-rich diet can be felt in just a few weeks. Now that the role of protein is clear, it is time to look at a less obvious but equally crucial nutrient. It acts silently in the background, strengthening muscles in a way that many people still do not know. When talking about vitamin D, many people think only about bone health. But what few know is that it also plays a fundamental role in strength and in preserving muscle mass, especially after the age of 70. Deficiency of this vitamin is extremely common among the elderly and is directly linked to the increased risk of falls, muscle weakness, and constant tiredness. That is, it is a discreet but powerful ally. Vitamin D acts in muscle contraction, balance, and coordination, helping the body respond better to movements and preventing stumbles or instability. In addition, it improves the absorption of calcium, another essential nutrient for muscle function. When vitamin D levels are low, even simple daily tasks require more effort, and muscle recovery becomes slower after any physical effort. The main source of vitamin D is sun exposure, but this can be a challenge for many elderly people, especially on cold days or with little mobility. Therefore, in many cases, supplementation becomes necessary, always with medical supervision. Foods such as fatty fish, eggs, and fortified dairy products help, but they hardly manage to supply the entire need alone. The ideal is to monitor levels through regular tests. Studies show that vitamin D supplementation in elderly people with deficiency can significantly improve leg strength, reducing the risk of falls. In addition, it contributes to the proper functioning of the immune system and may even have positive effects on mood. This means more energy, less pain, and a greater sense of well-being in everyday life, something essential for those who want to live with autonomy and security. Now that we know this almost invisible ally of muscle strength, let's talk about a nutrient that, at first glance, seems to have no relation to muscles, but that acts directly in the control of inflammation and in the health of muscle cells. Ready for the next discovery? Omega-3 is a type of good fat that goes far beyond the heart. It plays a fundamental role in reducing chronic inflammation, one of the main factors that accelerate muscle loss in the elderly. Over the years, the body tends to enter a silent inflammatory state, which harms the regeneration of muscle fibers and favors weakness. That is where omega-3 comes in as a true protective agent. Studies show that regular consumption of omega-3 can improve the synthesis of muscle protein, even in sedentary people. This means that it enhances the effects of food and light physical activity, such as walking. In addition, it helps lubricate the joints and supports brain health, ensuring more balance and agility, two crucial factors to prevent falls and maintain independence. The best sources of omega-3 are cold and deep-water fish, such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel. For those who do not consume fish often, supplementation with capsules can be an excellent alternative. It is important to look for quality products, with a good concentration of EPA and DHA, the main active components of omega-3. And always consult a professional before starting any supplement. Another little talked about benefit of omega-3 is its positive effect on mood and disposition. It helps fight mild symptoms of depression, which also affect the motivation to stay active. After all, strong muscles do not come only from food and movement, but also from a well-cared-for and motivated mind. A strengthened body begins from within, including at the cellular level. With inflammation under control, the path to keeping muscles strong becomes much clearer. And if you think you have already heard everything about nutrients for strength, get ready. The next one is one of the most surprising and still raises doubts among many health professionals. Creatine is a substance naturally produced by the body, but it can also be consumed through food and supplementation. For a long time, it was associated only with young athletes and bodybuilders. But science has shown that, for the elderly, creatine can be a powerful ally in preserving muscle mass and regaining strength. And the best part, its effects are fast and well documented. After the age of 70, the body reduces the natural production of creatine, and food alone is hardly able to compensate for this. It acts directly on the production of energy inside muscle cells, allowing muscles to work more efficiently. This means more strength to climb stairs, carry objects, or even get out of bed with less effort. A true natural muscle battery. Studies show that creatine supplementation in the elderly, combined with a proper diet and light movement, such as walking or simple exercises, can significantly increase muscle mass and strength in just a few weeks. In addition, there are indications that it also contributes to brain health, improving memory and reasoning, which is an extra advantage for active aging. Creatine is found in small amounts in red meat and fish, but to achieve therapeutic effects, the ideal is to resort to supplementation. It is considered safe, affordable, and easy to use, as long as the guidelines on dosage and product quality are respected. And unlike what many people think, it does not cause weight gain or kidney problems in healthy people when used correctly. Now that you know this discreet but powerful source of energy, it is time to discover two more essential elements. They work together to ensure that muscles function without failure, acting as the foundation for everything you have seen so far. Calcium and magnesium form an essential partnership for the proper functioning of the body, especially after the age of 70. Many people know calcium for its role in bone health, but it is also vital for muscle contraction and nerve signal transmission. Magnesium, in turn, regulates muscle relaxation and prevents cramps, in addition to being essential for the absorption of calcium itself. Without enough magnesium, calcium may not be well utilized by the body, creating an imbalance that affects muscles, joints, and even sleep. Together, these two minerals help maintain muscle tone, coordination, and physical endurance. In addition, they prevent common episodes among the elderly, such as tremors, muscle fatigue, and that constant sensation of heaviness in the legs. Calcium is found in foods such as milk, yogurt, cheese, and dark green vegetables. Magnesium is present in seeds, whole grains, nuts, and legumes. But the absorption of these minerals may decrease with age, especially in those who use certain medications. Therefore, in many cases, combined supplementation of the two may be necessary to ensure effective results. Another important point is the balance between them. Excess calcium without magnesium can cause undesirable effects, such as muscle stiffness and even an increased risk of calcifications. Therefore, it is never advisable to supplement calcium in isolation. This duo must always go hand in hand, especially for those who want to maintain mobility, strength, and well-being without relying on painkillers or muscle relaxants. With these two pillars stabilized, the body finally finds the ideal support to remain active and safe. And with all this well aligned, it becomes easier to feel that age is just a number, because what really matters is how much vitality you can preserve over time. Aging with health and independence is not a privilege of a few, it is a choice that begins with small actions. As we have seen, muscle loss is not a sentence, but rather a process that can be controlled with the right nutrients. Protein, vitamin D, always accompanied by K2, omega-3, creatine, calcium, and magnesium form a true support team to keep the body firm, stable, and full of energy, even after 70. More than muscles, we are talking about quality of life. The freedom to walk without fear, to get up with ease, to continue doing what you love without depending on anyone. And the most incredible thing is that all this can begin with simple adjustments in diet and, when necessary, in supplementation. Strength has no age, and you can regain yours at any stage of life. Just know how to properly nourish your body. If this video helped you better understand how to take care of your muscle health, like it, share it with someone special, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next tips. Here, we always bring practical, objective, and science-based content so that you can live longer and better. And now tell me in the comments, which of these nutrients do you already consume daily and which one do you still need to improve? Your answer can inspire other people who are also looking for more vitality. And remember, keeping the body strong does not require extreme effort, but rather consistency and good choices. Knowledge is the first step, and now you already have the tools to move forward with more confidence. Stay with us, because in the next videos we will explore even more ways to live well with health, autonomy, and plenty of energy, whatever your age.